You ever feel like your mind is just stuck on a loop, playing the same anxious thought over and over and over again? Well, today, we're going to dive into a really powerful, practical framework to break that exact cycle and start rewiring how you deal with anxiety.
All right, so let's start with this amazing metaphor that gets right to the heart of the problem. It's called the crocodile mind. And honestly, it's a pretty striking way to describe what's actually happening when anxiety grabs a hold of our thoughts.
I mean, just picture that for a second. A single negative thought, maybe it's a little worry about work or something you said yesterday, that's the prey. And your mind, just like that crocodile, latches on. And then the spin. It twists and turns that one little thought around and around until your whole sense of peace is just torn to shreds. I mean, does that sound familiar? I bet it does.
So what's the deal? Why does this happen? Well, for a lot of us, our minds have a kind of default setting, right? A well-worn path that just slides right back into these anxious, reactive patterns. And without a conscious effort to step in, that crocodile mind just takes over. So the real question becomes, how do we stop the spin?
Look, the source material is super clear on this. Passively listening to an idea once a week and just hoping for change, it's not going to cut it. To really escape that crocodile's death roll and actually rewire your brain, the key isn't just learning, it's consistent daily practice. That's where the real transformation starts.
So, if daily practice is the secret sauce, then what does that practice actually look like? Okay, let's get into the solution. A structured, actionable framework that's designed for real, lasting cognitive change.
And here is the toolkit. It's an acronym, BREATHE. And this isn't some vague advice to just be mindful. No, this is a clear step-by-step process. You start by building your foundation, your inner ground. Then you return your senses inward, away from all that outside noise. From there, you learn to experience your thoughts as an impartial observer, no judgment. Next, you activate your higher wisdom, your intellect, to see the bigger picture. Then you tend to the simple feeling of your own breath. And finally, you harmonize with a mantra and enter a state of non-doing awareness. This is the playbook for interrupting that spin cycle.
Now, a really key part of that harmonized step is a specific mantra. But listen, this is so much more than just repeating words. It's a tool designed to completely reframe your entire relationship with the world around you.
It all starts with this. So simple, right? But incredibly profound. This is the first line of what's called the Mangalacharan mantra. Think of it as this powerful little seed you plant in your mind, especially first thing in the morning when that inner crocodile might be feeling extra hungry.
This is how you stop your mind from becoming what the source material calls a cosmic complaint department, where it feels like everything is a problem just waiting to happen. By repeating this mantra, you're consciously training your mind to see the world as being on your side, as a fundamentally friendly place. It's like you're deliberately upgrading your own mental software.
And a practice just builds from there. You're not just wishing for happiness, but also for peace, for wholeness, and for auspiciousness, that sort of sense of good fortune for everyone. Each time you repeat it, you're expanding that feeling of a friendly universe and deepening your own sense of calm and well-being. And this is why this whole practice matters so much. We're not talking about a quick temporary mood boost. The goal here is genuine cognitive change. It's that aha moment when you feel an anxious thought start to spin up, but instead of getting sucked into the vortex, you actually recognize you have a choice. You can respond thoughtfully instead of just reacting out of old habit. That right there is the transformation.
Okay, so we've got the tools. Now let's dig a little deeper into the why behind them. Because to truly disarm our anxiety, it really helps to understand where fear actually comes from, at least according to this Eastern wisdom tradition.
Okay, this is the key insight. Get this. Fear can only exist when your mind creates a division, when it sees two. Think about it. You're never just afraid. You are always afraid of something. There's me, and then there's the scary thing. Fear lives in that gap the mind creates between them.
And here's how that division really plays out. The mind cooks up a fearful thought, and then it makes that thought seem absolutely enormous, right? At the exact same time, it shrinks your sense of I, your own self, making you feel small, weak, and vulnerable in comparison. So when that tiny I is facing that giant thought, fear is pretty much the only possible outcome.
Now here's where things get really, really cool. This ancient spiritual insight, it aligns almost perfectly with what modern neuroscience is telling us happens inside the brain.
So on one side, you have this ancient wisdom saying fear comes from seeing two, self versus other.
And on the other side, you have modern neuroscience showing us that the amygdala, our brain's little threat detector, flags something as dangerous, creating a distinction between me and a possible attacker. They're describing the exact same mental division, just using different languages. It's incredible.
And once that amygdala sounds the alarm, bam, it triggers this whole cascade of physical survival responses. Your heart starts pounding, your breath gets tight and shallow, your attention narrows to a pinpoint, becoming hyper-focused on whatever the threat is. This is that mind-body connection in real time, and it all starts from that initial mental split into two.
So what's the payoff here? What actually happens when people consistently apply this framework and start to dissolve that internal feeling of two? Let's take a look.
Just listen to this direct experience from a participant named Charlie Fall. Notice the physical words here. Anxiety feels like constriction, right? Like being squeezed. But after the practice, the sensation was the total opposite, expansion and warmth. That is the literal physical feeling of moving from fear back toward wholeness.
And this quote from Mead, this highlights such a profound shift. The internal battle just stops. Instead of fighting your own mind or trying to run away from your thoughts, you start to build a friendlier, more peaceful relationship with yourself. You're just not at war inside your own head anymore.
And this brings us right back full circle to our crocodile. The ultimate goal of this entire framework is to educate your mind. It's about training it day by day so that it doesn't automatically default to catching one little thought and spinning it out into a full-blown crisis. You are literally teaching your mind a new way to exist.
So we'll leave you with this question. Our minds are running scripts all day long. Maybe it's a script that says, nothing ever works out for me, or everything's against me. The first step is just to recognize what script your mind is running. And the next step is to decide you want to write a new one. The only question left is, what's your first step going to be?